What's going on, YouTube? How's it going? Today I'm here with Kane, and what did you do this past weekend?
I went to the Montana State Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship in Kalispell. I made it to top 8 with Brave Kids DPE.
Nice.
There were 6 rounds. My first matchup was Fusion Pile. Guy was running Invoked, DPE, branded, and if it was a good fusion card, it was just Fusion Pile. Round 2 was Pendulums. Round 3 was Sword Soul. Round 4, which I lost, was Sword Soul again, and then round 5 was Despia, and I lost that one. Then round 6 was Flow Underease, and I took that one, and I made it to top 8.
Nice, awesome.
So let's just jump right into it.
Right into it.
All right, so standard Prank Kid lineup: 3 Dropsies, Roxies, Fansies. Oh no, sorry. Lampsies, Fansies. I know a lot of people don't really like Roxies. I know some people run them at 2. I saw one guy that was running him at 1 in some profile. I didn't like that one, but the draws you just get off of him are nutty. And most of the time, if you have a duplicate card, or if you're playing Thunder Dragon Fusion, you can afford to banish any of the other ones. Or if I have like an extra Water Enchantress or something like that, it's just like yeet, and it's good to go.
Yeah.
This card though is, I just really like him because, like, you summon him, you go off, and it's like, yeah, my hand's okay, and then you get the draw you get off him. One of the games I had, one of the draws I got off him was a Fusion Destiny, and I was like, okay. And so after I was done with my combo, I activated that, and the guy's like, are you kidding me?
That's awesome.
So he's super good. I would play him at 3.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Getting into the Brave Engine, Water Enchantress, super good card. I mean, most of the time you see her, you get the protection. Just in general, super good card. And then we have 3 Ash Blossom. I feel like, it's Ash Blossom, super good. Branded Fusion, right here, like, don't hit the Aliber, don't hit anything else. You save this for the Branded Fusion.
Yep.
And, I don't think they're playing a Gamma, but, hopefully they don't have a Gamma, but I doubt it. I never saw a Despia player that had one, but always save this for the Branded Fusion. Onto the 2 of hand traps, I ran 2 Ghost Spell, 2 Ogre, and 2 Veiler.
Sheesh.
Ghost Spell I really liked against Branded in red. It was super good. I was thinking about maybe replacing her with DD Crow, just because you can use DD Crow more than once. But she was really good. She came up pretty clutch today. I liked her. Veiler, of course. Ogre, of course. I like the lineup. It worked out for me. And onto the 1-up monsters. Of course, you have the 1 Griffin Rider, the 1 Celestial, and the 1 Dasher. Pretty standard. Adventure package, DPE package, came up pretty good. And then onto the spells, we have the 3 Aramesir. Card is super good. The thing I like about this is if they hard negate it, you can just activate another one. So it's like you might as well save it for the continuous spell. So it's a good card. And then 3 Place, super good. This card is busted. It's an add, it's a subtraction, it's an add. You get attack, they gain attack, they lose attack. You can chain block with it. This card's just so busted, super good. I think you have to play it at 3. 2 Pandemonium. I was running this at 3, but to make more space in the deck, I just cut 1. I know Elijah Green, is it wood or green?
I think it was green.
Okay, was running it at 1. I didn't really like it at 1. I had to keep it at 2. It's just super good. When I was going and deciding if I felt like I needed a card in my side that was more important, I did cut it down to 1, but I didn't really like that because the one time I did activate it, the Sword Soul player banished my 1 copy. I ended up winning that game anyway, but it was super scary. 2 Twin Twisters. This one was a last-second decision because my teammates told me that they heard a rumor that a lot of guys from another city were main decking the rivalries in the deck, and they said main decking the Twin Twisters was a smart idea, which is why I only had 3 Ghost Ogre, or I had 2 Ghost Ogre, 2 Veiler, because I had to make room for these. So I was like, well, maybe I'll take those ones out and put these in. It came up one time. I did see the other players running the rivalries, but this is a last-second decision. I probably wouldn't have main decked these if it wasn't for that rumor, but the card's good.
Yeah.
2 Fusion Destiny. The card speaks volumes on its own. Super good card. You see it in your hand. You love to see it.
If you get Ash on your normal summon, just activate it.
Yeah, get Ash normal summon, just activate it. Onto the 1-of spells. Thunder Dragon Fusion, Instant Fusion, Terraforming, Dracoback, Harpy's Feather Duster, Faithful Adventure, and Prank Kids Pranks. This card right here, I don't care what anyone says, prank kids need to play this card. This card is so good because if you, let's say they stop your Verite from the DPE, they veiled it or something, and you manage to keep your Verite, you can just activate it again and send this, and they're like, what else could he be sending? Is he running 2 DPE? That came up in a game. I just sent this and made a Battle Butler, and it was GG at that point. And then if you don't have another extender, you can banish it, and you can add Fansies to your hand. Card super good.
And even if they stop the Verite and you just dump that, it just gives you a free ad next
It gets
turn.
you a free ad. Like, this card's just all plus. It is a kind of like a win more card, but I love taking it at one.
For sure.
Instant Fusion, you know, this card is super good. It's like the prank kid's best card. But if I had to I'm running my deck at 50, and if I had to cut it down to like 45, this would probably be one of the first cards I would cut just because it feels like you don't really need it anymore, but it is a super good card to have. I love it. Terraforming, of course, another prank kid card. Just add the field spell. Draco back, Compulse. This card's busted. Super good for recycling. Fateful Adventure, and of course the Harpies. I just like the Harpies because, like, well, I mean, some back row hate.
You draw it, you draw it.
Yep, you draw it, you draw it. Onto the traps. Of course, the 3 ulti imperms.
Nice, nice.
Super good card. Came up all the time. Loved it. And then the last card was going to be Prank Kids Plan. I've seen a lot of people cutting this. I love it. Came up all the time. Nobody sees it coming. You send it off of Fansies. I was playing that Fluandereeze player. Banished it, lowered his attack because I negated the M-Pen with Imperm. Won me the game. Nice. Card super good. I don't care. I'm always going to run this at 1.
Awesome.
Onto the extra deck. And for the extra deck, of course, one of Meow Meow Moo. We already know. This card just elevated Prank Kids to another level. Yeah. Card's busted. I don't think it'll go to 0. I mean, if it goes to 0, Prank Kids are just like...
It's dead almost.
Yeah, if you don't see a Poly, or if you don't see a Pandemonium with 2 kids, or you don't see the continuous spell pranks to give you a token to normal summon and go into a doodle-doo, it's just barely... Yeah, I wouldn't even play it anymore. Yeah. Card, I think if you wanted to hit something, I think you can make Doodle to 1 maybe. I don't know, you can give them the... what were they called again? The Dragon Rulers. I guess you can give them the Dragon Ruler treatment and put them all to 1, but yeah. I don't think it's anything like that. No. 2 Doodle Doo, Spell and Trap, Adder, Tribute it to add from Grave, super good card. I think 2's the perfect number. I definitely wouldn't run it at 3. I don't like it at 1. 2's perfect. The 1 Bow Wow Bark. This card's busted. Gives all your prank kids protection from destruction effects during your opponent's turn. It's a quick effect. Super good card. Love this card. And people always forget that whatever it points to, it gains 1,000 attack. Comes up every single time.
It's so dumb.
Every single time. I'm like, swing, and they're like, okay. They're like, you take this. I'm like, no, it's gaining 1,000. You take this. And they're like, what's it gaining at 1,000? I'm like, Bow Wow Bark.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, I gained my attack back from the field spell, and I'm like, no, that's a permanent loss, and that's a permanent gain.
So
card's ridiculous. So good. Yep. 1 Rip Roaring Roaster. A lot of deck profiles I saw were cutting this card in general. I totally understand. I very rarely go into it. The card's just super good because if you can go into it and you're playing, you can manage to make it, and you wipe their back row. Obviously, plan makes it easier to go into this during your opponent's turn. And the card was also a lot better when Meow was at 3, because then you could also... I'd much rather use my Battle Butler effect twice to wipe my opponent's board than to wipe the back row twice with this.
Yeah.
So, the other card, the other reason why I really like him is because when he's sent to Graveyard, you can add any card back from Grave. So, when Dogmatica first came out with Maximus, and the guy's like, send 2 from your extra deck, I'm like, I can send any 2? He's like, yeah, you can send any 2. I'm like, okay, I would just send these 2.
Yep.
I was sending these 2 because Toad adds back Rip Roaring Roaster because it's a water, and Rip Roaring Roaster adds back Toad because it can add any card, so you just plus for free.
Doing anything.
But then let's say you asked your opponent and then they Maximus you can just send Rip Roaring Roaster and add your Ash back to hand.
Yeah.
This card also came up because when they've gotten rid of the token and the Equip spell went to Grave, or the Griffin Rider did. I usually made this and I let them run over it because that just needs to be sent to the graveyard by my opponent's card in my possession. So even if they kill it by battle, I still get the add.
That's insane.
So yeah, I would add the Equip spell back, or I'd add a Lancia back, which is super clutch, and they're like, this adds you any card back? I'm like, yeah, it's super good. So I mean, you can definitely cut him. I wanted to run him at 1. I like the card.
Yeah, for sure.
On to the rest of the links. The 1 Link Spider, this comes up because you make the token off Aramesir. Let's say they stop that combo and you just have an empty token, or you use Prank Kids Pranks to make a token in order to go into Verte. you obviously have to have 2 effect monsters,
Yep.
so getting rid of the token, going into Link Spider, makes it so much clutch.
Or you just get nibbed or something. Or
Yep, just get nibbed, and it's like, all right, I can make a token, continue off, make a Link Spider, go into this, and you can make a DPE. The one Unicorn card's super good. I love it just because, you know, Despia, you shuffle them back to the extra deck, they don't get their effects, and it also helps you link climb into the access code talker. I think this is pretty standard. You can also run Celine, like if you're going to cut the Ripper on Roaster, you can run a Celine or you can run a Hulk. I mean, obviously that's the standard line to go. Like I said, I just got to work a little bit more for it, but I love Ripper on Roaster. So it's just my own take of what I want to do. If you want to do something better like that, you can, of course. It just worked out for me. The one Exceed you saw earlier, totally awesome. I mean,
he's awesome.
Yep, he's awesome. A lot of people weren't running this card at all. I love it. It's just another Omni Negate. You make it, people don't see it coming because you normal summon, and then you make him, and then you're protected again. Then he adds 1 water from grave to hand. You can add himself or another Dropsies to have more follow-up. Yep. I like him. A lot of people were running him, but I really like him a lot.
When you use the fusion play on your opponent's turn to make Butler, and then you just summon 2 level 2s,
yep,
the
exactly.
waters, and then if they don't get rid of them, you just make a Toad first thing.
Yep, first thing you make is just a Toad. Onto the fusions, of course, the big boy himself, Battle Butler. Battle Butler's also busted because this special summons any non-fusion card from your graveyard to your hand. So let's say you kept the Toad in there and he gets sent, you can just bring the Toad back.
Dang.
Or you can bring an access code back, or you can bring the Verte back. It just special summons any non-fusion monster from the grave. So he's super good. And then of course he's a Raigeki.
Yep.
And if you're gonna play him and you want to banish your your Meow Mew, I would recommend you only do that if you think for sure you're gonna win the game next turn.
Yeah.
Because once your Meow Mew's gone, and they still had follow-up, and you didn't really have much, you're kind of screwed at that point.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've done it is when I was confident that I was gonna have it the next turn. Onto the one-ofs, the Weather Washer, Rocket Ride, and of course the MVP, DPE. This card, I mean, this volumes alone, I mean, Banish 2 with Celestial, and, what's the other? I can't remember it now. Dasher, Banish 2, and you draw 2. Rocket Ride, I like him just for the combo plays. The other thing I like about Rocket Ride 2 is if you run into a Crooked Cook player, you can just loop this with Lampsies, because this can attack directly. So you go Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, attack directly for 1,000, burn him for 15, pass turn. Then you keep recycling him, attack directly for 1,000, 500. That's how you get around that. So I really like to keep him. This guy though, MVP, he gives everyone the Armades effect. When they attack, you cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. MVP, especially with Battle Butler, with Despia, they can't activate shit. It's super good. Super good. I love it.
And the Washer is so underrated.
So underrated. I love him. Then you contribute, can't be destroyed by battle. Super good. And that's it for the extra deck. We'll go on to my side. 3 Lancia. Lancia never really, it popped up, but it didn't pop up enough for me to really feel comfortable actually siding it at 3. That it was good. I liked it. I didn't play any Virtual World, so it never really popped up at all. I mean, it's okay against Despia, but I really liked it against Floowandereeze.
Oh, yeah.
But I only played 1 Floowandereeze player, and so I think it's a good card, and I might keep it at 3 or not, I don't know. 3 evenly, it's good. It's busted. I don't care what anyone says. Super glad I had this card sided. It super clutch. Super clutch. If you don't know what it does, you can look it up. It's a super good card. Token Collector, another MVP against Sword Soul, based. There was also a water loop deck there that just used the Aurora Dawn combo. Came in super clutch right there too with one of my teammates. Super good card to side. I think this is probably one of the best sides of the format. 3 Forbidden Droplet. I mean, this card's super good too. I mean, Baron, what's that? Savage, what's that?
Right.
Like Herald, this is tough against Herald of the Arclight, because I believe Herald of the Arclight says anything sent from hand or deck is banished instead.
Yep.
So you got to activate something on field, and then you can send that card from field. But it's really hard with a Herald of the Arclight on field with a Forbidden Droplet. Just Arclight's a super good card.
Yeah, for sure.
And then for these last ones, it's kind of janky. I had the 2 Droll and the 1 Twin Twister. If I had to switch it around, like I said, the only reason why I had the 2 main decks is because I heard that rumor about the rivalry, so I put that in there. And I put the Drolls in at the last second because I heard that Droll kind of hurt Despia, and I was like, I don't really think it does. But the one time I sided it in against the Despia player, he just passed turn. Just the hand he had to pass turn, and I was like, wow, that came in super clutch. So if I had to switch it around, I would try to I would take out the 2 twin twisters, main deck the 2 drolls, and side the 3 twin twisters. Is how I would do it. But it worked out. I mean, I made top 8. I finished 4-2. Had a pretty successful day. I lost in the first round in top 8, but I still made it. I've made every single state with my deck build, and so I feel pretty good.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Kane.
Yeah, no problem. Shout out to the shop in Kalispell. I believe it was called Kingdom of Games. I can't remember the name. I'm sorry about that. Shout out to Brandon, last year's champion. Archie was there. Shout out to him. Shout out to all the other Great Falls guys, Bozeman. I mean, it was a great trip. It was a great event. Loved you guys.
Awesome. Well, cool. Thanks, Kane.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
We'll have some more deck profiles of everybody else that got top 4, top 8. So, yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next one.